Hello, FBLA Arizona. My name is Ria Sarsfield and I'm serving as your Vice President of Chapter Development.
Hi, my name is Patrick Bontrager, and I'm serving as your Vice President of Alumni Relations.
And my name is Colin Gately, and I'm serving as your Vice President of Leadership Development. Today we're going to talk about leading your chapter and the best way to do so. This video can help you not only become a better leader in your own FBLA chapter, but also in your community as a whole. So let's go ahead and get started by talking about chapter officer responsibilities first.
So, why do you need chapter officers? Well, in any group, it's best to designate certain tasks to certain individuals who want to take the lead and become more involved. In the case of an FBLA chapter, electing officers ensures that the chapter stays on track and has certain concrete goals for the year. It also allows a few individuals to take over some of the day-to-day responsibilities of keeping a chapter organized. So now that we know why we need to have chapter officers, let's get into the certain officers types we recommend and their respective responsibilities.
First and foremost, your chapter should have a president. The president serves as the chairperson of the assembly. He or she runs the chapter and officer meetings, creates meeting agendas, and delegates responsibilities between himself or herself and the other officers and members. The main job is to serve as a liaison between advisors, teachers, administrators, and the members they represent.
Next up, we have the role of chapter vice president. Your chapter should have at least one vice president, if not more, because you can split the chapter responsibilities to multiple vice presidents, giving them each their own specific roles. For example, some chapters like my own have a vice president of competitive events, a vice president of public relations, and a vice president of awards and recognition / community service. These roles can be split up however your chapter decides. Vice presidents ensure members are registered for conferences, they post on social media and send meeting reminders, and they promote the completion of BAAs and CSAs. Your chapter should also have a secretary. The secretary is responsible for taking meeting notes and working directly with your advisor when it comes to documenting your chapter's activities. Many times, the secretary also serves as the chapter parliamentarian and is responsible for the implementation of parliamentary procedure in your chapter. And finally, we have the treasurer, who works closely with the advisors to manage the chapter's finances.
These are just some of the suggested roles your chapter officers should have, but you can always add or delegate responsibilities as your chapter sees fit. Your chapter officer team should ideally have frequent officer meetings prior to general chapter meetings, so that everyone is on the same page and the meeting agenda is always set. It's important that the secretary takes notes at both chapter and officer meetings.
Now let's switch gears towards talking about delegation. In order to effectively navigate your team's goals while also building leadership skills, you can use Ari Meisel's 6 levels of delegation. These can help you become a better, more approachable leader who doesn't micromanage. Leaders are constantly told to delegate or distribute some of their responsibilities between their teammates. Not only does this help the delegation, but it also helps induce stress release for those leaders. As we discussed, we will repeatedly use the word team throughout this video, and your interpretation will depend on your specific situation. As a chapter officer, your team could either be your fellow officers or your entire chapter. But this isn't just applicable to FBLA. This could apply to any school organization, club, sports team, and more.
Now, level 1 is do as I say. This level of delegation is meant for tasks and projects that are pretty straightforward and don't require too much information, skill, or expertise. As a leader, you may be telling your team what needs to be accomplished, but some tasks are so simple that you don't have to see them through yourself. You can let somebody else finish these off for you so that you can put more of your time towards important tasks.
Level 2 is look into this for me. This is the level to use when the task is something you're unfamiliar with. Sometimes you need to make an informed decision. You might not have all the facts and details, but you might not also have the time to look into that matter yourself. This is where look into this for me comes in. By having another member do the research for you, you can simply look at the information they compile and make an informed decision yourself. This can save your time, especially when you have multiple tasks to complete.
Level 3 is give me your advice and I'll decide. This is where you really need to have some trust in your teammates and their judgments. Sometimes it is better to let go of a little bit of control, especially for your mental health. And in doing so, you allow your teammates to have creative freedom to explore and make their own decisions. When a team member is helping you research or prepare for a task that you might be unfamiliar with, Getting their advice and using it as a tool in your decision-making process can ensure that the decision is not only fast and effective, but also informed. Trusting your team and allowing them to help you will not only benefit your team, but also yourself.
Level 4 is explore, decide, and check back with me. Now, this level is often difficult for leaders to employ, especially because it can be hard to relinquish control in decision making at times. In level 4, you're no longer the person making every single decision. Instead, you're trusting your teammates to take the best course of action. You're still overseeing the total process, though. Before a plan is executed, your teammates just check back with you to confirm their decision. In these cases, it's often best to delegate the task to a member who's most knowledgeable about the issue at hand. As a leader, it's your job to find that person with the most expertise, but it's their job to make that informed decision. You're just there to confirm the course of action.
Level 5 is explore and decide within these limits. Now, in Ari Miesel's words, if it's a decision that doesn't involve more than $100, I don't want to know about it. End quotation. Now, of course, Miesel is thinking specifically in terms of running a business, but this idea can be applied on a more general scale to any type of team. If you're a leader and you have certain priorities, anything below those shouldn't concern you as much and isn't worth your time. As a result, any minute, unspecific decisions that don't seem high priority to you shouldn't even come under your radar. Instead, you can designate another member of your team to deal with these issues.
The last level is level 6, just get it done. In order to use this level effectively, you need to completely trust your team's ability to research, compile information, and make decisions. You won't need to constantly check in or preoccupy yourself with what's going on, but trust that the task at hand is getting done. Truth be told, the instance where you can use level 6 is quite rare. You usually can't just say to someone, just get it done and expect perfection.
As you can see, the 6 levels of delegation are all about taking tasks off of one person, namely you, and dividing them among your team members so that all decisions are informed, but they're also taken efficiently and effectively. One thing to emphasize about these 6 levels of delegation is that you can only move up in the levels if you trust your team members more and more. You have to move past that I'll just do it myself attitude and be willing to share responsibilities, trusting that the right decisions will be made regardless.
We hope this video was helpful in giving tips on how to lead your chapter for success throughout the year. We're excited to continue creating connections with all of you.